Good morning and welcome to the Grow Omaha Show, Omaha's only economic development and commercial real estate radio show. I'm Trenton Magid. Jeff Beals has the weekend off. This show is brought to you by D&M Roofing, Omaha's premier commercial and residential roofing company. And I'm pleased to announce our new sponsor, Dingman's Collision Center, Omaha's premier Omaha auto body and mechanical shops all throughout Omaha. And Dingman's have been great friends of ours, and I've done their real estate for a long time, but Boyd and Diana Dingman, their children, Andy, Darcy, and Travis, and welcome to the Grow Omaha sponsorship. And so we're excited to have them on in the near future, and definitely recommend Dingman's. They take care of all my auto work, that's for sure. I would say that we have an average show for you today. You know, every show on TV and radio, they always talk about how great their show is. I'll just say we have an average show, and let's see how it goes. I'm happy to introduce my guest co-host, Mike Riedman, who is President Emeritus of NP Dodge Residential Sales. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, and thanks for having me on, Trenton.
Welcome back. You've always given us great intel about the residential market, and we're going to hit that during our first segment after the economic development news. And shortly, we'll bring on our guest, Blake Martin, who's the franchise guy and owner of FranNet of the Heartland. So we're really excited to bring him on. But it is time for the economic development news of the week, sponsored by Eagle Mortgage. They've been in business for 30 years. They're licensed mortgage brokers serving Nebraska and Iowa. They have free consultations for purchases, refis, get pre-approved conventional VA and FHA right at the corner of 114th and Davenport, just south of 114th and Dodge. You can go to eaglemortgagecompanY.com, and they do unbelievable business. As you know, and Jeff always talks about it as well, is you want to be pre-approved for your mortgage, and the Mike, as Mike, you can attest, the residential market really heats up this time of year, doesn't it?
Oh, it's going crazy again.
Well, the new edition of Brad Williams' construction update, you can see our video on YouTube. He hits over 20 properties around the city about whatever projects are going up, and he does a great job. You can see all the historical construction updates on there, so check it out on the Grow Omaha YouTube page. Regency Landing, our friends at Access Commercial, this is a mixed-use development right northeast of Interstate 680 and Pacific Street, right next to the Ethan Allen building. The old Regency Lodge was demolished a long time ago, and the first phase is under construction, which is the renovation of the commercial building. Future tenants include Early Bird, Blue Sky Patio, and Pickleball. That's a hot thing right now. Twisted Cork Bistro, Subway, Scooters, Superior Dental Health, Regency Fitness Club, Omaha Elite Kettlebell, which will be interesting, cheeseburgers, and a takeout joint. That's where Noli's, I just had Noli's the other night down in the Blackstone District. There'll be the Collection co-working space and the Vault Craft Cocktail. So we're excited to see Regency Landing, and you can see the construction going on there. Floor and Decor. This is right next to Nebraska Furniture Mart. This is the 80,000 square foot flooring store under construction just west of the NFM on Rose Blumpkin Drive. The site previously had NFM warehouse and was also used for outdoor truck parking, so this is an improvement to that. Floor and Decor is a national retail chain with multiple locations. I guess it's kind of like car dealerships. They want to put them next to each other.
Oh, exactly. And so if you don't want to stand in line for your flooring over at the Nebraska Furniture Mart, you might be able to walk in here.
Absolutely. Hampton Inn, dirt work is underway for the 6-story hotel on the southwest corner of 44th and Douglas Street. That will bring much-needed hotel rooms to the rapidly expanding Med Center area. That is just going to take off with that next project, that Homeland Security, Department of Defense, self-contained teaching hospital.
Yeah, we're expecting somewhere close to 7,000 new jobs coming to Omaha because of that expansion. So
yeah, I heard it was like 8,700, and
yeah,
salaries average around $75,000, and something like 40-something thousand construction jobs for like 5 to 7 years.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy finding all those people, but we'll have homes for them.
We're going to need homes for that. Speaking of that, my friend Michael Malley, who's a high-end residential agent, he's building some condos right behind the Starbucks on the southeast corner of 72nd and Dodge. There was a piece of land that sat there for a long time behind that strip center there. So check out those condos. Call me. I'll give you the 411 on what's happening there. Moxie by Marriott, the 6-story hotel, which has been under construction for a while, just started going vertical. Framing has reached the third floor. I bet you they're probably higher by now. 105-room hotel, which is on a postage stamp size lot there, right at 12th and Harney, which used to be the diner was located, that old-fashioned diner. The building will have a brick exterior to match the old market surroundings. Moxie by Marriott appeals to young professionals and urban dwellers. The concept is relatively new, with only 25 locations in the United States. The closest existing locations are in Minneapolis and Chicago. So you're seeing all these, call them craft or boutique hotels going up.
Yeah, Omaha has really benefited a lot from some of the new brands that have come into town. And so it's exciting to see a new Marriott brand going downtown. At one time, I thought that was going to be a Hyatt and hotel. But
I'm always amazed, Mike, I think that we've probably tripled or quadrupled the number of hotel rooms in the Omaha area over the last 20 years. And then you also have the VRBO and Airbnb selections. I can't believe that. I'm sure a lot of cities are starting to regulate those rent a house by night or by the week. And by our office on 132nd in Dodge Street, there's like a $500,000 house that has a pool, a jacuzzi, cabanas. And how'd you like to be a neighbor that just wants to live in peace? Every weekend you have, raging parties next door.
Wow, that's the party house off Dodge Street. Well,
are you guys selling homes to people that are just buying them for those rentals?
We are. Not as many now as we had previous, because it's so competitive right now for single-family homes. And so that we're not seeing as many investors looking for those for rental. But there is definitely a market there.
The Bohemian Apartments, the project is located at 12th and William in the emerging Little Bohemia neighborhood. When complete, the 3-story building will have 112 units plus underground parking. Also in South Omaha, 2 projects in South O. The first is the Q22 Senior Housing Apartments, 40 units in a building at 22nd and Q on the site of the former St. Agnes School and Church. The second is a new fire station at 34th and Q that will replace the 1940-era station at 25th and L. So that's probably a good thing. Moving west, I-80 Logistics Park, getting built by White Lotus Development, located near 132nd Cornhusker. This industrial development has a last-mile warehouse for Amazon, plus 2 yellow and black and white multi-tenant warehouses, one of which houses Home Depot's distribution center. Yet another industrial building is under construction on the north edge of the development. And also XPO, which is a national third-party logistics firm, signed a 300,000 square foot lease. So that's pretty impressive. Pacific Point, this work is continuing on a second 4-story apartment building southeast of 204th and Pacific. This will be a sister building to the one next door, which houses Barrel and Vine. And so that's up there by Pickleman's with the drive-through, and it's got the grocery store anchor, and that's a pretty hot area. That's pretty filled out as far as the residential market goes, isn't it?
Yeah, it sure is, Trent. And as you know, the population is growing out there, and you get out to 204, and it's really the connector between Elkhorn and Gretna. And we're seeing a lot of development following the residential development that's already gone on in that area. So it's pretty exciting. That's the new hot corridor.
Yeah, absolutely. At 192nd Street, the Ravello apartments at 192nd and Pacific are getting larger as the second phase is under construction to the north. Even further to the north, work is underway on a senior living facility, which includes 70 independent living units, 54 assisted living units, and 32 memory care units. Well, that was your economic development news of the week, brought to you by Eagle Mortgage Company, where they know mortgages. Find them online at eaglemortgagecompany.com. That's eaglemortgagecompany.com. We are going to take a short break, and we'll be right back to you with Blake Martin of FranNet of the Heartland. And welcome back to the Gromo Show, the area's only economic development and commercial real estate radio program, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and Mechanical Centers and D&M Roofing. I'm Trenton Magid of NAI MP Dodge. Jeff Beals, my usual co-host, has the week off, but Mike Reedman, who is with
Backlot Pizza and
NP
Kitchen
Dodge Residential Sales, is joining me. And it is my pleasure to introduce our friend and newsletter sponsor, Blake Martin, who is the owner of FranNet of the Heartland. He's also known as the franchise guy, and we're going to get into that. And welcome, Blake.
Thanks. It's good to be back. Appreciate you having me, Trent.
We're glad to have you. And I was the owner of Coldwell Banker Commercial World Group for 10 years. I bought an international franchise, so I kind of know something about being a franchisee. And I want to reintroduce you to our listeners and talk about everything franchise. You cover Nebraska and Iowa, and give us a little bit of background about FranNet of the Heartland.
Sure. So I'm a franchise owner myself who helps other people learn about franchise opportunities.
Sounds like a pyramid scheme. No, just kidding.
Not at all. Highly regulated industry by the Federal Trade Commission.
Thank God.
Yeah, exactly. But I help people who are looking to start a business and they're not quite sure what kind of business is the right fit. We're an international company all across North America. And yes, I happen to be the local franchise broker here in Nebraska and Iowa.
Give us an idea of the role that FranNet of the Heartland plays.
Sure. So as I said, I've been a franchisee and am currently. And prior to that, I was the franchisor, so working in the headquarters for franchise companies like Right at Home. And my role is to help people who are thinking, I want to start a business and, do I want to just hang my own shingle? Do I want to join a franchise? Do I want to buy an existing business? And I help them weigh the pros and the cons and, what are the variances between those ways of getting into business. And if they're interested after they get educated on franchise concepts, then we help them go through building their own blueprint for what the ideal business looks like for them. And when you've heard me say we're the match.com for local entrepreneurs in the past, what I mean by that is we know a whole lot about top-performing franchises all across the country in a ton of different categories. And our job is to match up that profile or that blueprint that we build for the local individual or the couple that are looking to start a business and see if that matches up well, if it has synergy with particular franchises that we know well and have already vetted ourselves. And then give them the tools to do the research the right way, go through the due diligence.
So you've been in this for a while. You've seen a lot of things evolve. Can you kind of describe what you've seen?
Well, nothing's changed in the last couple of years.
Not at all.
It never ceases to amaze me, the versatility and the adaptability of the franchising industry. I mean, it's across a ton of different industries. It's way more than just, do you want fries with that anymore? But watching things like the development of franchises into the on-demand or gig economy, right? So you've got recycling businesses that are focused on an app-based business model where they're putting sensors in containers and you're making your money by collecting recyclables and selling them at a profit but at a cost savings to the ultimate user of it. So there's all these types of industries that are responding. And then, of course, you've got people who are worried about inflation in this day and age. Well, looking at businesses that are in categories like damage restoration, fire and water damage restoration, where the consumer isn't paying out of their own pocket. Insurance is paying for it. So that tends to be a very viable business in a market like this if the buyer of the business is worried about inflation.
Would it be fair to ask you about one specific franchise company?
You can ask me about any of them.
I see in the Omaha World Herald where they announced new hires, it seems like Scooter's Coffee has been hiring a lot of people. Is that a very active franchise?
Oh, my gosh.
It's a very active franchise, particularly in this part of the country, and they're starting to spread out in other areas. And I would tell you that, knowing the founders, right? So knowing Don and Linda, that is an organization, a franchise system that has stayed true to its culture and to what is important to the folks that are behind that business. And really, that's been a big part of the success of that organization for their local franchise owners.
Yeah,
So-
he's been on the show a couple times.
Has he been?
Don Eccles.
Yes.
And so if
Bellevue,
somebody was
Nebraska,
interested in acquiring a franchise, would you be the person they'd reach out to?
Absolutely. And the good news is there's no cost because it works kind of like a real estate transaction. So person that's looking for the business and trying to work through that process of understanding if franchising is right for them, they don't pay me a penny.
That's cool.
So, what are a couple franchise categories that people haven't thought of? Like, I mean, can you get a franchise for people can sharpen scissors at home, or what are the?
Yeah, just about everything. You're absolutely right. I mentioned one of them earlier with recycling.
Mosquitoes, getting rid of mosquitoes in your backyard.
Mosquito eradication. Exactly.
Huge category.
Here's an interesting one. So I came back from our big national convention, and we get updates and get to sit down at the table with all the major franchise systems and some of the emerging ones. And one that really caught my attention is this waterless car wash that comes to you, and it's all driven by an app that the owner of the business can hold on to. You got a couple of employees. This app builds the route, so to speak. And I say waterless because I don't want to go down on a hole here, but most car washes, it's about 35 gallons of water that's used on every car that goes
Oh, I
through.
believe it.
This is a waterless one. It's like dry cleaning for your vehicle.
How does it work?
They have an
Virtual car wash.
They have a patent on an emulsifier that actually grabs the dirt and emulsifies it without scratching the vehicle. It's a concept that came out of Europe, out of Ireland, and got really big in Europe, and they just made their entry into the United States.
I think I'm going to stick with my Tommy's Express membership. What else?
So you've got fitness machine repair. We were talking about that at the start of the show.
That's pretty cool because the Blue Moon Fitnesses of the world need repair. I mean, they got expensive equipment.
Well, and that's an example of something where, hey, when the fitness places shut down, there was a whole lot of ellipticals and treadmills that were getting dusted off, and there was problems with them. So in comes somebody, one person, into your home by themselves, even at the height of COVID, and can repair that for you.
So I'm an individual and I'm interested in starting business. I contact you first. You find a category and some franchises I might be interested in. And then my second step would be contact Trenton to find a location for that. Is that how
Oftentimes
that
that's
works?
needed. Yeah.
You're the best Mike Riedman residential guru.
Just thinking.
No product placement in this show, ladies and gentlemen. What are some
Nicely
of the
played, Mike.
what are some of the misnomers in the franchise industry that you run into?
Thanks for asking. The first is that, hey, franchising is so much more than just do you want fries with that anymore. There's a ton of categories, and there's a broad array, a broad spectrum. And the second is largely because so many people, when they think of franchises, they think of a McDonald's or they think of a Subway, and they think of the large build-out, and they think of the AAA real estate that's needed, and they believe, man, I'd love to get into a franchise, but I'm not a millionaire. Well, you don't need anything even close to that. I can tell you I had a fraction of that, and I invested that fraction of $1 million, like way less than $100,000, to have a very successful business that can generate a six-figure income. And there are a lot of service-based franchises that offer that kind of investment for far less than what people think. And
Like 2 men in a truck.
great example. Yeah. So you have very
I
little.
couldn't afford
bricks
that.
and
I'd
mortar.
probably just do one man in a truck and one
man
man,
in a
one
car.
truck, and a bad back. It hasn't taken off.
Love your advertising shtick there.
Yeah. The that's pretty cool. The you are known as the franchise guy, and you have a podcast. Tell us about that, because I want people to be able to find that.
Well, yeah, it's the best podcast in the history of forever.
Next to
of course.
Grow Omaha's podcast and YouTube channel.
The second best ever.
Yeah.
So the Heartland franchise guy is what we call it, and you can find it on any of the major platforms, or just Google Heartland franchise guy. We try to do a very balanced job of interviewing local franchise owners, of franchisors, founders of franchise systems, and influencers in the industry, like folks that specialize in funding the franchise industry. And then we also walk into just entrepreneurship in general. We had the lady from the Acton's Children's Academy, that is a school here in Omaha and Lincoln that is all about helping kids become entrepreneurs. So anything entrepreneurship and small business that's specific to our neck of the woods, we like to talk to folks about that.
Well, Blake Martin, we appreciate you coming on and sponsoring our newsletter. I know you're pretty easy to find. FranNet of the Heartland, and I'm sure is it FranNetoftheHeartland.com?
You got it.
Wow, that's a good idea that you made it. You made it that. Well, thanks, Blake Martin. We appreciate it. Will you come and join us soon?
Absolutely. Thanks for your support, and thanks for what you guys do in this community.
And thank you. You're listening to Trenton Magid and guest co-host Mike Riedman of NP Dodge Residential Sales. You're listening to KFAB 1110, and we'll be back in a couple minutes. And welcome back to the Grow Omaha Show, the area's only economic development and commercial real estate radio program, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing. I'm Trenton Magid of NAI NP Dodge. Jeff Beals, my usual co-host, has the week off, but I'm joined by Mike Riedman, who is the President Emeritus of NP Dodge Residential Sales. Welcome back, Mike.
Well, thank you, Trenton, and it's a delight to be here.
And we always get great news from our friends at CoStar. It's an international real estate news and data information company. The U.S. hotel profitability recovers to about 77% of 2019 levels. U.S. hotel industry quickly recovered in February after a slowdown at the start of the year, partially due to reduced travel and concerns about the spread of the Omicron variant of COVID-19. Gross operating profit per available room, also known as GOPAR to you and I industry veterans, for the U.S. hotel industry, a metric that measures the relationship between revenue and expenses, reached 77% of February 2019 levels, which is comparable to the highs achieved in the summer of 2021. So I don't know if you've got a hotel room lately, but they're not afraid to charge anymore.
No, they are. They're up there. In fact, the first week of May, I'm going out to Washington, D.C. for the Realtors legislative meetings, and I was a little surprised how pricey it is out there again.
Absolutely. Well, our co-sponsor, D&M Roofing, is a full-service certified roofing contractor with more than 50 years of experience in all areas of roofing services, both residential and commercial. You can count on D&M for speedy, reliable service when you need it the most. No job is too big or too small. They have affordable solutions for everyone, and I am living proof that I had to get a new roof in 2020, and literally, I've got a pretty palatial house. No, just kidding. It's a nice house, nothing crazy. But they came in. They ripped off my shake shingle roof, cleaned it up, ran that magnet with getting all the roofing nails and everything, put one of those synthetic roofs on that's supposed to last forever, and they were in and out of there in 2 days. No problems whatsoever. They never had to come back to fix anything. People commented all the time. So check out dandmroofing.com. They will serve you well. And also, I want to talk about, I want to do the Noddle Development Spotlight. Noddle is a friends of ours, Noddle Companies. Jay Noddle and his team are probably one of the most prolific, or they are one of the most prolific developers, not only in commercial real estate, but also in residential real estate. They are the developers behind the Builders District, which is home of the new Kiewit headquarters, Kiewit University, which is attached. I don't know if you guys have seen that. There's a big crosswalk now to connect those two buildings right off Mike Fahey Street. They're getting ready to break ground this summer on a timber building, which is pre-leasing now. This is the first new timber building. So basically, where you usually see steel, you'll see wood. You'll see timber. This is directly south of Kiewit at 1501 Fahey Street. 125,000 square foot building, plenty of parking, 5 stories. It'll be a combination of timber and steel. This is it'll have first floor retail. So that builders district is going good. They have a residential project on the drawing board as well for that same area. So definitely check out the builders district. And this development spotlight is brought to you by Noddle Companies. Go to noddlecompanies.com and check out all their other amazing projects, also including Exarban Village. They were early and developed First National Business Park, as well as Commercial Federal Business Park, which is known now as the Bank of the West Business Park. So we appreciate Noddle Companies. Well, Mike, you are here to talk about the residential market. Now, I'm heavily involved in commercial real estate, and sometimes there's overlap on the residential market. Give us the 10,000 square foot view of the residential market right now.
Well, the residential market, and if you've listened to the news or read the newspapers, know that it got incredibly strong during the COVID lockdown. People decided that if they were going to have to work from home, they wanted some workspace or a different type of an arrangement in their homes. So homes have always been popular. Home ownership is part of the American dream. And in fact, today, and as has been in the past, many people, the bulk of their financial wealth is in their home because homes appreciate. And so they have really appreciated greatly, though, of last. So Omaha is seeing record appreciation in home prices, and that's caused more and more people to get involved in the market. Just to give you an idea, we're listing approximately 2,000 homes each month. And of those 2,000 homes that we're on average listing, about 1,950 of them go pending every month. So it's almost in the door and out the door.
So before it would take a while to sell homes, the average from list to pending is a couple weeks now?
It's 15 days, Trenton, and that's been for the last almost 2 years has been less than a month. So it keeps getting shorter and shorter.
Is there a downside to houses appreciating?
Yes, there is, because of affordability for the first-time home buyer. Those are the ones that struggle, and it's the one part of the market that is the most challenging because as homes come on the market and competition for those homes has heated up, existing homeowners who have equity, who are sometimes paying cash, sometimes borrowing a much lower ratio than what a first-time home buyer would borrow, get first in line with the sellers on getting their offers accepted.
Yeah, my friend, longtime friend, Gail Larson, who's founded Celebrity Homes, who I think in 1978, he said that he was building homes for $38,500, and pretty much the same home now is probably $300,000.
Yes, exactly. Well, everything has gone up, and as you know, lumber has been in the news a lot. Lumber prices fluctuate quite a bit, but they've been on the high end recently, and that has caused the average price of the new home to be north of $300,000. And so even for the starter homes, it's hard to find anything right now in new construction because of the costs.
And it takes, about 2 years to take a farm and turn it into a residential subdivision, right?
Yeah, for development of what we call green acres, that used to be a farm or a field, it takes almost 2 years by the time you get approval, you get your permits, and then to build out all the infrastructure. So you're bringing in sewer and water and paving and electrical, and it's quite involved, and the process just takes time.
Is it slowing down at all? Is residential development and construction do you see it slowing down at all?
No, it really hasn't slowed down. When we look at the numbers, we're building the same number of homes monthly as we were a year ago, and the only thing holding the industry back from actually even accelerating more is the supply chain and trained, skilled laborers. Almost any home builder in town has a for hire sign out in front of they're looking for people for trades, people who have skills that can build those homes.
And everybody always talks about mortgage rates. I know that I think I just did a 10-year mortgage about 3 years ago, and I paid down pretty fast, and I think it's at 2.5% or something. Are we seeing rates tick up already?
Yes. Rates have been coming up. We started the year, we were in the 3s, and now we're in the 4s, just touching 5.
Residential, really?
Yes, it is. It's
and
still
those are 30-year fixed rate.
A 30-year fixed rate. I looked this morning. You can get most of them are in the upper 4s right now. 30-year fixed rate mortgage, which is incredibly cheap. In historical terms, we used to see mortgage rates that were double digit for most of my career. They were,
and it got to, was it around 79 or 80? That was like 22% or something.
yeah, it got way up there. Yes, it did. So incredible. We can't even think of those numbers today.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
it's incredible. So are a lot of people holding on? I know that I could get a lot more than what I paid for my house. I've put into my house, but no offense, Mom, but then I'd have to move in with my mom, and we don't want to do that, and she doesn't either, I'm sure. So it's easy to get out of a house now, but it's harder to get in.
Well, it's not harder to get in. It's just a lot more competition. So we find a lot of people look at the market. They monitor it. They contact their favorite NP Dodge real estate agent and have them watch the market for them. You were talking about apps earlier, Blake. We have apps too. You could actually put in the price range, the style of home, the area that you're interested in, and within 15 minutes of that home hitting the market, you will get a text or an email sent to you saying, this home has come on, here's the price, here's the address. If you want to see it, go now. And so that's become very popular for people.
Are we seeing less multiple offers than we were a year ago?
No, we're still seeing multiple offers. Maybe not as many. A lot of sales agents would tell me that they would get anywhere from 8 to 10 offers on a new listing. And today I think it's a few less than that because a lot of people, quite frankly, have gotten out of the market because of the competition. So it is a good market. If you're a seller and you want to sell, you will get top dollar for your home today. If you're a buyer, you need to know you're going to have a lot of competition in the offer that you write. So write your best and final
and
first.
Get pre-approved
exactly.
at Eagle Mortgage Company. Thanks, Mike, for that. It's time to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to have the lightning round. I've got all kinds of new information about your fair city of Omaha, and it's brought to you by Turner Construction. You're listening to Trenton Magid and Mike Riedman of NP Dodge Residential Sales. You're listening to 1110 KFAB, The Grow Show. We'll be right back. And welcome back to The Grow Show, the area's only economic development and commercial real estate radio program, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing. I am Trenton Magid of NP Dodge. Jeff Beals, my usual cohort and co-host, has the weekend off. I am joined by Mike Riedman of NP Dodge Residential Sales. It is time for the lightning round, everybody's favorite segment. It is brought to you by Turner Construction. They're building for the future. It's one of the world's largest construction companies, but they do projects of all sizes. With over 150 full-time Turner employees in the area, about 40 of whom are local to Omaha. Turner is the #1 builder nationally for healthcare, commercial, educational, and pharmaceutical manufacturing, and data centers. They're building the enormous Sarpy County data center at Highway 50 in Sarpy County. And Turner is continuing to grow and engage in the local community and organization as true partners. They have comprehensive pre-construction services, project planning, and industry-leading project turnover. So definitely check out Turner Construction. Whether you're looking for a job, they're always looking for skilled tradespeople. They'll even train, and they do a wonderful job, and they're a great community partner, so thank you for that. Well, crumble cookies, Mike, have you heard of that?
No, but I hear they're here. So I guess I did hear about them. I haven't tried them. If that's
they're in our neighborhood up at 168th and West Center Road, and when we were coming to the show this morning at 8:15, people were lined up. I don't even know if they were open, but people are already lined up. For the first time in their franchise history from across the country, I'm sure they bulk up for their openings, but they actually ran out of cookies, and they had to close for a couple of days to make more cookies. And it's crazy. And my only concern is it's just got a cult following. And my only concern is we have Chick-fil-A down the street, and if Crumble Cookies partners with Chick-fil-A and makes a chicken Chick-fil-A cookie, I'm not going to be able to get out of my neighborhood.
Oh my gosh, I hear you. And actually, a crumble cookie really sounds good. Did you bring some in for us?
I did not. Okay. The Omaha Eppley International Airport, as Jeff likes to call it, is about to kick off a long-anticipated expansion project that will double the size of the terminal from 368,000 to 700,000. That's almost double. The $600 million project will begin next year and will take approximately 4 years. The number of gates will grow from 20 to 22. The concourse could be expanded to 28 gates in the future as traffic demands it. Instead of the 2 overcrowded satellite terminals, the expanded Eppley will have one long concourse with a single security entrance. That will allow much more space for restaurants and other retail tenants that are conspicuously lacking in the current building. The Omaha Airport Authority is currently expanding and remodeling the airport's vehicular entrance while it is renovating the south parking garage. Those 2 projects cost a combined $29 million and are scheduled to be completed later this year. Have you seen that speed ramp going into the parking garage?
Yeah, that's quite interesting. That's
you
cool.
got to pay attention, ladies and gentlemen, especially if everybody parks in that Carter Lake parking lot that they haven't repaired. I don't know if it's Carter Lake or City of Omaha or whatever, but someone needs to fix that parking lot. You go in there and wait till your friend calls you to be picked up, and you can lose a wheel in there.
That's the cell phone lot they talk about.
No, that's a different lot.
Oh, okay.
What the hell's a cell phone lot?
Well, that's where you sit and play with your cell phone until your loved one texts you that
have you been in there? Is that what it is?
Oh, I have been in there.
So
yes.
they don't charge you for it. You just sit there.
You just sit there with all the others.
I want to know what the heck a cell phone lot. That's easier to get to now with the construction, because I went to that little park by the lake, and then you got to make a U-turn, or you got to go way north.
Oh yeah,
to get to
no, that cell phone park. Yeah, it used to be you'd drive around in circles until your loved one came out of the terminal and you could pick them up. Now you wait in the cell.
Thank you, Mike Reedman. Because if don't ever say you don't learn something on this show to talk about at cocktail parties, ladies and gentlemen. Wow, that was a fast lightning round. Well, I appreciate Blake Martin, FranNet of the Heartland. Thanks for coming on. And Mike Reedman, MP Dodge Residential Sales. It's always a pleasure to have you on here, my friend.
Thank you, and I always appreciate the opportunity to be here.
Well, Jeff and Trent will be here next week. You're listening to 1110 KFAB. This is the Grow Omaha Show. Check out our podcast and our YouTube channel. Have a great week.
If you like this video, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. And remember, Grow Omaha is not just media. This is a mission. We are trying to build up Omaha and make it an even better place. We can only do that with your help. Share this video with your friends, neighbors, and family.